Hi, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's reaction video. Now, I'd say it was about 2 years ago now. I did part 1 of this video. This is part 2, you can tell because it's already in the title, of massage therapists reacting to massage scenes in movies. I did this 2 years ago because if you haven't seen that video, which link up here if you want to go check that out, I am a licensed massage therapist. I studied in 2012, I got my license in 2013, and long before films were my passion, massage was my passion. Before I even knew it was actually a thing or a career, it was something that I loved. So being able to actually put myself into school to study that as an adult is still one of the greatest things I'm proud of doing. So I originally back then started doing that one video, which I was still so surprised people watched and people still watch, which blows my mind. And I really wanted to do a second one, but then I kept forgetting about it, and then I was struggling to find films that had massage scenes in them. Because the reason why I like doing this is, one, you get to learn a little bit more about me, and something else, I get to share a little bit of my knowledge with you. So I put out the feelers a few weeks ago saying, name me some films that have massage scenes in them. You guys really came through, you gave me some great ones, so I'm gonna go through and react to them for you now. Only thing that I would like to say is that I'm only speaking on my knowledge of my training, and anything that I know in the massage industry. Now, there are so many different styles of massage, and they especially change depending on what country you're in. There are different rules, regulations, techniques, all that stuff. So maybe what I'm saying does not apply to something that you have learned. It doesn't make me wrong or you wrong. We've just learned two completely different ways, and I can only comment on what I have studied and what I have learned and trained in. That being said, I will pop on the headphones and we will start reacting and see how this goes. Okay, the first scene I'm looking at comes from 2002's 2 Weeks Notice. I do actually enjoy that film, so we'll see what we've got.
Make sure you massage his cloven hoof.
Girls, I'm suddenly feeling a pain in my arse.
I am unemployable. You called everyone except for Slurpee Heaven.
That is not true. I did call Slurpee Heaven. They didn't want you. Heard you had attitude. Said you weren't Slurpee material.
Miss Kelson, you should really let us work on you. I don't like to be touched.
Quickly go back so I can look right here. One thing I'm saying that I love the table. I see a lot of films where the massage table does not actually have a hole cut out for the head. This, I think, is so important. I think it was a bit more common in things like the 90s and that to people to be using massage tables that do not have this or have a head attachment at the end of it. The reason why this is so important is because it keeps the neck in a neutral position. That's not a word. Neutral position. Why this is so important is because if it's in a neutral position, it means it's a lot easier to get to all the muscles you need to get to. Everything in the neck, everything in the shoulders, in the shoulder blades. If you watch so many of these films, people are laying like this. Just try and imagine laying with your head like that for 55 minutes. You are going to wake up, your neck is going to be stiff, stuck in that position, and when you try to turn it, it's gonna hurt. Trust me, I've complained about it, other people complain about it. Basically, by the end of the massage, you'd be needing a massage. It's just not ideal, either that or you're gonna have to constantly be telling the person, turn your head this way, turn your head that way. You're straining the muscles. This way is neutral. It's great with this particular massage table is I really prefer ones where they have a position for the arms. Some have head attachments, and under the head attachments is a little hand rest so that as you're laying down, your arms are in front of your face, and this means that your shoulders are up, so your therapist has easy access to your shoulder blades, can get under your shoulder blades, can manipulate them, and get to all the muscles at the side of your body. And that is really great because you really don't want to have to disturb someone during a massage and go, hi, can you move this way? Can you move that way? If it's a remedial massage, there's going to be a lot of physical manipulation, so that's kind of expected. But if it's relaxation, you want them to be relaxed. But I don't know why he needs to. I'd say this is not a technical thing. This is very much written into the script to describe his character as being someone very selfish, self-indulgent, that like, yeah, I have money, so why not have 2 massage therapists? Because it just doesn't make sense to have 2. I think that would actually be quite confusing for the therapist and the person getting the massage, because you're going to have, unless they're like synchronized swimmers where they're like synchronized massage therapists, they're going to be doing 2 completely different things, and you're going to be aware that one person's doing this, another person's doing this, they're not in sync, or they're not working on the same muscles. It's going to make you feel a bit disoriented. Unless, of course, one was working on the top and one was working on the legs, you could possibly get away with it. But yeah, also they're really not doing anything. Their technique is crap. They have no idea what they're doing. They're wearing jewelry on their wrists. That's a big no-no. If you're doing massage, you can't have rings on, you can't have jewelry on, because you run the risk of scratching your client. So if I was him, I would fire them. But on top of that, yeah, this is just everything to talk about how self-indulgent he is, which is fine.
I'm sorry, you guys are great, really. It's not you.
All right. All right, listen.
I wouldn't mind one of those. Yeah, everything about that table isn't there for practicality. It's there to really be an extension of his character. They're just trying to tell you, you know, he has money, like self-indulgent, like I said. All those things have nothing to do with, you know, showcasing massage accurately. They are there as an extension of telling the audience more about him as a character. Because another issue with the table is the height. The height is out of whack. It is really, really, really bad. One of the things you want as a massage therapist, and it's really good to get tables that are height adjustable. You can get some that either you do it manually or they're electronic. But basically, if you stand at the table and you let your arms drop to the side, your knuckle should brush against the top of the table. That is the recommended height for you. And so you should have it at that height where it brushes against your knuckle if you keep your arms straight at your sides. If you were a massage therapist who perhaps had some back problems and you couldn't lean as far, you can adjust it up to what is comfortable for you. But yeah, as you can see, just because of how this woman is holding her arm like this, that table is up far too high. She wouldn't be, if she's going to be doing anything where she's got to go a little bit deeper, she can't really push because she's up too high. So yeah, for one, that table is completely wrong height, which is going to mess with both of these massage therapists' backs. So yeah, the only thing I like is the gap in the table. Aside from that, it's a mess. Okay, next scene I'm reacting to is from 1994's Dumb and Dumber. I barely remember this film. I really should rewatch it. So I didn't remember that there was a massage scene in this, and then I saw it's like 5 seconds long, but we'll see how I can react to it. Okay, first I can tell that this massage table has a head extension. That is great. And they've actually used, I can already tell that, if you can see my mouse, you can see right here. They've done a technique which is how to fold a towel. You can actually use anything. You could even use a brand new t-shirt, any form of linen. Towels are just really good, but there's just a specific way to fold them to cover the headrest, because you want to be able to take all that stuff off and then replace it when you get to a new client. So the fact that this has an attachment where the head can sit in really nicely, it also looks like it's adjustable. That's really great. They have everything right. The only thing is the towel is wrong position and too small. One of the things when doing a massage is you actually want to keep the entire body covered except for the area you are massaging at that time. You really would want to have it, instead of draping across just the buttocks, you really want to have that covering the length of the body. And then if you're working on the back, you would fold it down, tuck it into the underwear and bring it down just a fraction so that you can massage the top of the glutes. And then that would keep the legs covered, which means you are keeping the person warm and secured. But yeah, I can already tell that her hand placement means she has no idea what she's doing. People seem to think that if you should be giving a massage, then you'd be doing like both at the same time, you know, just working the entire shoulder. Ideally, no, you would start on one side of the body, move around, work on the other side, so that you're getting that kind of symmetry and everything is being worked on the exact same way. You wouldn't want to be leaning across to work on the other side. That also puts you into their personal space even more. That's not ideal. Also, I can tell her top button is undone. That's unprofessional. Okay, first of all, she's not even using the headrest. Okay, we'll get onto the fact of, yeah, this would never happen. This is unethical. This is really fine if it's like your friend or your partner. Go for it, have fun. This is all just pure comedy. The fact that he's even putting on her outfit, that's hilarious. But yeah, again, towel would not be like that. Towel is not even secured. It should be really tucked into the underwear to keep it in place. It's horizontal, not vertical, and she's not using the headrest. She's a massage therapist, so she should know that she's only injuring her own neck by doing that. But on top of that, did he do what I think he just did? I'm gonna just go back a few seconds. Don't do— no! He did! Oh, triggered! I am so triggered right now. Oh my god, elbows too. Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, big no-no. Big no-no. Everything he's doing is a huge no-no. Okay, if you are ever going to give a friend or a relative a massage to do something nice, if you want to do the chop thing, you can. It is actually a technique. It's typically used at the end of the massage to kind of bring that last bit of blood flow to the surface of the skin, but you don't do it like you're competing in a freaking karate competition, okay? It's not like that. What you want is, you want the hand to be very limp. In this case, limp is a good thing. You want the hand and wrist to be very limp. So if you say that this is the back and this is what you're doing, you just want to do it like this. If you see what that means is that my hand, with little effort from me, bounces back, which means it's not going to hurt the person you're doing it to, and it's not going to hurt you either. So you really want to be very light, very limp, barely putting any pressure onto the skin. You do not want to be going very stern like you're about to break through a piece of wood. Hey, yeah. Do not do that. Do not do it with your fist. None of those things. Limp, very weak, bouncing back. That is the way to do it, and it's very light. But aside from the technique being bad, he's done it in the one position. You should never do it. There are parts of the body that are considered danger sites, and that means that you cannot do certain things on them or should not really go near them. If you're doing a regular massage, the whole back is fine. But when you're doing this specific technique, the one part of the back you should be avoiding is the area just below the kidneys, the area just below the rib cage where the kidneys are, because they're very fragile. That's why they are where they are. That's why part of the rib cage is meant to protect them, because, you know, they need protecting. If you are going ha-ya on top of someone's kidneys, you can actually inflict a lot of damage to them. If they are someone who has any trauma, you're going to cause them severe pain. Kidneys are pretty sensitive, so you really don't want to be doing any of that. On top of that, and I can now speak from experience, if a person had a kidney stone can linger and form. It's basically crystallization inside the kidney, and it will stay and they will form for a while. I know, because I had one last year, and it was the devil. But it's going to stay in the kidney, and then at one point something is going to flush it down into your ureter, and that's when the pain begins. It's when the stone moves that the pain starts. Until then, you're fine. If someone had a kidney stone in their kidney and it had not been disturbed at all, that motion, doing anything that hard onto the kidney, could actually jog the stone loose. And on a scale of 1 to 10, kidney stone pain is an 11. seriously, morphine couldn't even knock that pain out. Fentanyl, however, that was delightful. I love that stuff. I highly recommend it, as if you need it for medical reasons. I don't mean as a drug thing. So yeah, if you're gonna work along the back, you do shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. When you get to that region where the kidneys are, you jump over it and do lower back, top of the glutes, and then work your way back up. You would never do it along the spine, and you would never do it in this portion right here. You don't want to injure the person, and yeah, he's just basically pummeling the shit out of her. Okay, next thing comes from 2002's Boat Trip. When this was suggested to me and I was hunting down the film, and I'm just like, Boat Trip, have I seen this film? And then I was kind of scanning through and I went, oh my god, I have seen this film. I just completely forgot it existed. So, wow, I haven't even hit play on this and I already have issues. Once again, we have a table that has no place for the head to sit in and rest, which means in about an hour she's gonna, or unless it's a 30-minute massage, but I'd bank on it being an hour. Yeah, she's gonna wake up and her neck is going to be very stiff. She's probably gonna end up with a headache. On top of that, again, the towel is horizontal instead of vertical. I don't know why people think this is ideal. It's not, because then what happens if you're doing a full body massage? If you need the person to turn over and do their front, guess what's going to happen? She's going to be naked and exposed, so that does not work. If you have the towel vertical and covering the body, then one of the things that you can do when you ask the person to turn over is that you can then lift the towel up when it becomes a barrier between you and the client, so they can turn over, you don't see anything, they get to feel safe, and then you would lay it back on top of them. It's quite that simple. With women, you know, the option is they can either choose to have their bra on or off. Most of the time it is a woman will probably keep it on, and then the massage therapist actually has to ask for permission to unhook the bra. Same with an osteopath or physiopath, they do actually have to ask first, like, is it okay if I do this? If, however, you've like been going to them regularly, you've already gotten into a routine, so it's usually fine. But so bras are optional, but underwear is mandatory. You must keep your underwear on at all times. 2 reasons. 1, so the client feels secure. 2, health and safety, because again, you're in a setting where that means being exposed to bacteria, whether it's them exposing you, you exposing them. If you are going to be manipulating that towel, you don't want to suddenly accidentally touch them in private areas. You don't want them to feel like, you know, they're at your mercy of being touched inappropriately. Everything that we are taught is taught how to respect a person's body, their space, and how to do things that mean that they don't feel exposed. So again, if you have the towel vertical, then if you're working on the top, fold it down. Fold it back up when you're done with the back. When you're working on the legs, you wouldn't just flip the towel up and expose both legs. You'd expose one at a time. So you'd fold it, kind of tuck it up again into the underwear, and you would work on one leg, put it back down, move to the other side, repeat. So the underwear are vital. They also help keep the towel in place. And if you are someone who needs to work on the glutes because you're doing probably like a remedial massage and the client has a lot of pain in their glute muscles, because they can, believe me, if you have a lot of lower back pain, chances are some pain is coming from your glutes. You can then manipulate the underwear, but you'd be doing the towel. You never want the person to feel exposed, and this is just not good protocol. For, I guess, an argument you could make is for this. This guy is not a licensed massage. Why am I struggling with that word today? This guy is the plumber or the maintenance guy, and the door is not shut. The glass that's exposed, there's no security or privacy given to this client. Even if a client is getting on the table, the massage therapist will leave the room and only come in when the person is on the table and completely covered up. You're not there for the undressing process. No. She is exposed, she's vulnerable. That's just nothing that is appropriate about this scene. And again, I haven't even pressed play yet. But another thing I will tell you is I'm noticing in all these scenes, they don't have any leg support. What is happening? Maybe it's because it was the early 2000s, I don't know, but I'm not happy with this. It's not ideal to have a person on a table with their legs straight like that. The knees are gonna lock up. And if the knees lock up, the person is gonna be in a great deal of pain. The muscles are gonna start cramping and it's gonna be a bitch for them and probably a bitch for you. What you want to do, if a person is laying on their front, you can actually get silicone cushions or things like that. They're kind of a half oval shape. And you can get them, and you would then have them underneath the sheets, and they will go under the ankle of the client, so that I'll try and say it like this. If this is the leg, this is the back of the knees, it'll keep their feet up like this. This is really good to get the blood flow back to the heart, which is one of the key things that you want to do in massage. And it also means that the pressure is relieved from the knees. Otherwise, like I said, the knees are going to lock up. So when you flip the client over and you start working on the front of the body, you would then move that cushion. Instead of being under the ankles, you'll move it to under the knees. So again, that'll mean the knees are up, pressure is relieved, and everything is going to be fine. Trust me, if you leave them without it, it's actually really not good. And if you cannot, because you can do this at home, you can do it for your loved ones if you are giving them a massage, provided you are doing it correctly, or at least in the sense you're not touching things that you shouldn't be. What you can do is, if you don't have this cushion, which you could probably get on eBay for pretty cheap, what you can do is you can get a pillow, or you can roll up a towel really, really thick, really, really tight, place it under the ankles, or if they're on the other side, under the knees. It's really not hard to do. Yeah, but ultimately,
Thanks for fitting me in today, Daniel.
this position just
I'm
looks
so
really
tight.
uncomfortable. Like, my neck and knees hurt just looking at it. And I feel very uncomfortable with that door being open and him just walking in. Maintenance should not be allowed to do that.
This time.
Her arms aren't in an ideal position either. You know, a lot of places like you to have that, but I don't find that's good because it makes it a little harder to
Give
get
it to
to
me
the side
harder.
muscles. Yeah. She's not wearing underwear.
Harder. Harder.
Okay, what the F? I've never seen or heard of a massage technique that involves spanking someone's rear. I'm not saying people aren't into that, but there's no health benefits to it. On top of that, she didn't seem to even have a problem with it. Like, what is going on with her and her massage therapist? But the only thing that I will say, it may seem weird that she's going harder, and he seems to be really going at it. I've actually had this happen. I've been with a client, and during the massage you will ask, how is the firmness? Is it too light, too hard, so that you can adjust to their preference. And I have been with people who were athletic. They ran marathons, did all this stuff, so their body was very muscular. And I'm doing this and they're like, I'd really like it if you went harder. And so I'm like trying to go harder, but I only have my own level of strength. So I was really trying to push and go as deep as I could, but it still was not to their liking. They left me feedback and said that they wish it had been deeper tissue. My teacher actually complained when she saw that. She's like, if they want a deep tissue, they should be going in for a remedial massage, not a relaxation massage. She's not wrong. But I have learned that sometimes the massage therapist is just not going to be able to do it, the depth or strength to the client's preference. And that's because your body can only do what it can do. But I have learned that if I come across a client like that, the best thing I can do is stop using my hands and start using my forearm and my elbows. It's actually, instead of trying to get a trigger point with your thumbs, you can actually use the elbow to apply pressure and monitor where you're going. Again, just don't go too deep because you don't want to hurt someone. And if you are trying to do a massage and you want to add that pressure, you will use your forearm to press down and slide up. And it works. If you are not strong enough and they want that and you want to do more broad strokes, then use your forearm. Just make sure that you sanitize your hands and arms before and after. That is part of massage. But some people forget to sanitize the forearms. But so, yeah, it's not unusual for her to be saying harder, harder. That does happen because people have different tolerance. So for her, she obviously has a very high tolerance and does need a lot of very hard, deep tissue. But that doesn't equal spanking. Fucking hell. The technique is terrible. She'd know that something ain't right. Oh God, he did that right on her kidneys. Oh no. He did that right in the danger zone. Well, I hope she didn't have any kidney stones. I hope she wasn't on dialysis, and I certainly hope she didn't have any spine problems, because she probably does now. Yeah, you'd never do that. You would never, ever, ever do that. No way. If there was a trigger point there, then you'd go for the trigger point. But you wouldn't just randomly shove your elbow into somebody's body. On top of that, he's been doing so much that was on her spine. Unless you're a physiotherapist, an osteopath, or a chiropractor, you should never do any massage or any form of physical manipulation on the spine. I watch way too many ASMR videos, or just videos in general, and someone's doing a massage and they start doing, whether it be circular motions or this, which are actual techniques, but they're doing them directly on the spine. Do not do it. You have no idea what is going on in their spine. Leave that to professionals who are trained in how to manipulate the spine, and also at times, have a freaking x-ray to go off of. You do not, so stay away from it, because this is not a joke. I think I mentioned it in the last video. It has happened. There was a woman on the news who went and got a massage. The massage therapist ended up doing something to her spine, and they were not trained to do that, and the woman they had to call an ambulance because she ended up as a paraplegic from a massage. So yes, please be cautious. If you are trying to give your loved one or a friend or anything a really nice massage as a treat to make them feel good, go for it. You don't really have to have technique to do a friendly massage. Just don't do this like it's karate. Don't do it in the region of the kidneys. Avoid the spine at all costs. You can do to the sides of the spine, that's perfectly fine. Don't do anything on the spine. That even means in the neck. Anywhere the spine is, don't touch it. And don't, this isn't even relevant to what's going on here, but I'll just throw that in anyway. If you are doing it, don't massage the crevice of the elbow or the crevice behind the knees. Don't do any of those. Those are also danger sites, especially the back of the knees. There's actually no muscle behind the back of the knee. Behind the back of the knee? That sentence doesn't sound right. At the back of the knee, there isn't actually muscle. It's kind of an open space. You have tendons and ligaments and muscles that kind of cross, but there's an open space there. If you were to push into it, you can push a tendon or a nerve and get it trapped in between the knee. Just between the joints. So the next time that person gets up, that's going to get pinched, and you can actually cause severe damage. And similarly, you can have things happen like that in there. So you actually have, if you were to bend your elbow like this, don't be too rough with yourself, but if you bend your elbow while kind of jamming your thumb in gently, if you do this, you can feel a tendon, that something very hard that comes across. That's the tendon. So you don't want to be massaging that. That's crucial. That's what's pulling your arm up when you do that. So that's not something you want to massage. And you can do the same thing with the back of your knee. If you do that, you're going to feel those tendons and go, oh wow, I could almost fit my thumb right underneath that tendon. Don't actually do it though. But yeah, so do anything else, just please avoid those places. Please, I beg you. So the last scene I'm reacting to is from 2011's Final Destination 5, which for me personally is the worst film in the franchise. Yeah, so Guy has gone in because he thinks just because this massage parlor is Asian, that it means it comes with happy endings. this is something I find extremely offensive. Yes, there are places that do this and operate, but they're usually not legal practices. They're not, a lot of the time, they're not even licensed massage therapists, because they're there to give, they're brothels basically. They're brothels disguised as massage parlors. So, there's that. He's gone in because he has this racist, misogynistic opinion that all massage places, especially if they're Asian, come with happy endings. It's not, and we're trained on how to handle that. I still get, to this day, I don't really casually tell people that I'm a massage therapist unless I trust them, because if I tell a random guy that I do massage, the first question I get is, do you do happy endings? And it offends me so very much. It's illegal. It's illegal. We're not trained to get you off. Okay? You want that, get a girlfriend or go to a prostitute. My God. But reacting to this scene, candles, they're a no-no. Again, they're a health and safety hazard, and considering this film, they are very much a hazard. Death likes candles. But they're a health and safety hazard because anything could go wrong, something could catch fire. A lot of the time, some places, I know people like, why don't you use like scented candles? Scented candles you would never use, because you don't know if someone's going to be very hypersensitive to smells, or it's going to be a scent that they are allergic to. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. She's lighting incense. She doesn't know if he's actually sensitive to those things. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that are not ideal. I've even been to Chinese massage parlors, and I gotta tell you, of all the ones I've been to, I didn't see a candle or an incense anywhere, because they're a hazard. So they're just not good, because you're focusing on the person and not flaming objects behind you, which, as you see later in this scene, go very, very well.
Relax, and someone will be in to service you soon.
Oh, yeah.
I also don't even know why a receptionist would wear high heels. I know she is from the previous moment, but couple things. Yes, they have a head extension, and yes, the towel is folded correctly to cover it. That is great. But ideally, if you're gonna turn someone and then have them laying on their back, the headrest should be flat, and you you can either roll up a towel to support the head, or you will put a pillow under the head. But yeah, so it should be straight, and it's not. But I'm just happy that they have one. This is also one of the rare times I'm seeing somebody getting a massage on their front. Yes! Okay, there was one in my other thing, but so often I'm watching these movies and everybody's getting back massages. They're not even getting legs. It's just their back. Or if there's any film, I'm actually just realizing this, if there is a film where they're trying to hint at something sexual or sensual, that's when they do a scene where the client is face up. So that's interesting. I just noticed that. But if you're giving a full body massage, you give a full body massage. Even if it's a woman, yes, you will cover the chest, but you work on the chest, you work on the stomach, the abs. All these things are important. Yes, we work on the arms, the hands, the face, the legs, the feet, everything. That's what's called full body. And yet I watch these movies and everybody's just getting their back worked on. And I don't even know what he's getting done, but appropriate footwear, I approve. No oil, no.
Feels dynamite.
Actually, I think that happened with every scene I've seen so far. Nobody was using any oil, any powder, any lotion. I'm more preferential to oil, but depending on, someone's skin sensitivity, you have to use different options. Some people use lotion, some use cream, some use powder, which is very good for people who have very sensitive skin and skin irritation. But yeah, nobody is using anything. Dry massage, oof. It's like sandpaper. It really doesn't feel good. She hasn't applied anything and she's just kind of start doing the two hand. Yeah, no, technique is bad.
You're going the wrong way there, little lady.
我冇做錯嘢。
Oh! Wait a second, what happened to the younger version of you?
我哋而家開始啦。公我腦夾夾就唔得。
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you come with subtitles?
Yeah, so he doesn't have support under the knees, so his knees are going to lock up. He has a towel around him instead of being covered. That's not good at all. And yeah, that headrest is up way too high, so it's actually going to be throwing his neck out of balance again. Yeah, none of this is good.
我都可以幫你做。
Okay, you know what? Maybe I should just go here.
放鬆啦。
Don't know what that means. No idea. Yeah?
哎呀，你個脊骨係咪歪晒？
She's brutalizing the shit out of him, which...
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, that towel is folded perfectly, I will just say that. You would never do any form of spinal manipulation if the person has not consented to it and they do not know what they're getting into, because you don't know what pre-existing injuries they may have. This is a lawsuit waiting to happen. She's beating the living shit out of him. And personally, I have a lot of issues with my neck, and I have had my neck cracked so many times. People think that it's the bones being cracked. It's actually not. It's just pressure being released from the discs in your spine. Kind of like popping like bubble wrap. That's really what it is. No bones are being broken, so that's a misconception. But he's overreacted. I think it's more the shock that he's reacting to, because if you've had your neck manipulated, it feels weird, because that noise makes you think that you're going to have pain, but there's actually so much relief that comes with that sensation. It's not painful or scary at all, but if nobody tells you it's about to happen, yeah, you'd probably jump out of your skin.
你個脊骨，哦
God.
You're strong.
Hey,
What are you doing? Ow! You're a little aggressive
Ooh.
there, don't you think?
吸氣，
What's cuphead?
Cuphead.
I don't know what that means.
呼氣。
No fuhead. I don't want a fuhead.
Fuhead.
No fuhead.
Technique isn't entirely wrong on that one. When I've gone to my osteopath to get my spine fixed, yeah, exactly. He will turn me on my side. He will have me cross my arms. Typically, he'll also have a towel rolled up, and I have to hold that to my chest. Turn on my side. Gotta stop doing that. Sorry. Pull my knee over, and then he'll kind of breathe and push on my back as he's pushing me this way. So I'm kind of being stretched in two different directions, which is a really good stretch for the spine. So while her technique is very brutal and there's no consent or preparation, and she does actually establish in a moment that she does speak English, so it's not really professional for her to not be communicating in the language the client speaks, because then he can't be aware of what's going on, so that's very dangerous. The table is adjustable, which is great. All these holes that you see on the sides here, that actually means the table can be adjusted in height, so that's great. But it's also apparently very flimsy, because it's breaking, and Death is going to be loving that. But yeah, she's got some of the technique down. It's just her bedside manner is atrocious. Oh!
Oh, that actually felt great.
Yeah, this is kind of going into like the realm of remedial massage, which, you know, you're gonna scream, you're gonna yell, you'll probably come up the next day red and bruised. It'll hurt, but the benefits of that pain far outweigh the actual pain you're going through. So yeah, this isn't a relaxing treatment, but oh man, like I said, lawsuit waiting to happen.
未完㗎，肥佬。
Oh, yeah.
That's just not
awesome.
appropriate. Okay, acupuncture, cool.
Oh.
Okay, that oddly.
Wait. Are those things even sterilized? No. I'm not catching any diseases unless I've earned them.
They're unusually thick.
Wait a second. You understood that?
Yeah, so therefore she
You
should just be
speak
speaking the
English.
damn language. For the record, I'm not one of those people who's like, you're in Australia, speak Australian, or any of that shit. I don't believe in that. Speak whatever language you want. But in a professional setting where you are dealing with a person's body, you need to be able to have communication to know if what you are doing is all right for them. And she's making the decisions for him. She shouldn't be doing that. That's, like I said, lawsuit. So yeah, it's just not okay. No. She's sterilizing the acupuncture needles, which is good, but you wouldn't do that in front of the client. You would have pre-done that before a session. You don't suddenly start sanitizing shit during a session. That is insane.
我梗係知道你喺度講乜嘢啦，蠢。
Yeah, which
Alright,
isn't
you know what?
professional, honey.
Let's do this. 2 billion people can't be Wong. I said Wong. You follow me? Oh, you get it. You're Chinese.
Yeah, at that rate, he kind of deserves the pain she's inflicting because he's proven that he's a chauvinist and he's racist from the moment he walked into this establishment, so I don't feel too bad for him. But I've had acupuncture done. Acupuncture is not painful. The needles are thinner than a needle if you're getting blood taken. They're thinner than that. They're usually very flexible. And yeah, as far as I'm aware, they come in different lengths, but they don't hurt because you're not going in deep. You're going into meridians, which are parts. Their centers are all throughout your body and they're all connected. And if you hit one, it will, cause an effect somewhere else, which is the principles of remedial massage as well. You treat, just because you have pain somewhere doesn't mean that's where actually the problem is. And that's the same thing as acupuncture. You're using the meridians inside the human body to treat pain or ailments elsewhere. So what she's doing should not hurt him. I've had this done, it does not hurt. I don't know if anybody has ever bled from an acupuncture needle. I haven't, my friends haven't, my family haven't. I've never seen anybody bleed because I've also had dry needling done, and it's slightly different. Dry needling is how to treat a trigger point from inside the body instead of outside. You can treat a trigger point by applying pressure with your thumb, with your elbow, whichever, but dry needling is injecting basically an acupuncture needle right into the trigger point in the muscle and letting that knot release. And it does not hurt. I've had it done. You maybe have a brief moment where you will jump or feel a sting of pain, and it's not when the needle goes in, it's when the needle finds the trigger point and the trigger point is protesting. And then after that, if the trigger point is active, the needle will actually start to twitch because the trigger point is reacting to this thing trying to release it. And all you feel, like I usually have had it done in my shoulders, and you just feel like there's a brick on you. You suddenly just feel very heavy, but you don't feel pain. And you know when the trigger point has been released because suddenly that weight disappears. So...
Ow, okay, it's in. It's definitely in. Ow, okay, yes, it is in.
It shouldn't hurt.
How many of these are you gonna put in me?
You can see... Okay, obviously, these are far thicker than the acupuncture needles that I have ever seen. They, because of the effect where they've kind of obviously had to, like, glue them on or use whatever, they look like they have really stabbed him, and it looks like there's blood. There shouldn't be any of that. This is all for dramatization, and the point is that, spoiler alert, death's gonna come, he's gonna be impaled, and none of that makes any sense whatsoever. This is just for dramatic effect. No. You shouldn't even really feel any of those in there. I've had that done, you can't feel it. But then again, individual people, it's different, and I'm not an expert on acupuncture, but this just seems like a ridiculous dramatization for effect, because he's essentially, in part, gonna have death by acupuncture. Well, he's gonna have death by a lot of other things, but that's just an addition to it. So yeah, Final Destination 5, just another reason why I hate this film. And yep, this scene is just a big part of it, so I'm gonna leave that. Anyway, that is the end of this video of Massage Therapist Reacts to Massage Scenes in Movies. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have found it educational in some way. I think mostly I felt like I was just reacting out of anger to a lot of this stuff as opposed to being educational. I don't know, I hope you found anything I said educational. But yeah, I would love to do another one of these, so if you know any films that I have not reacted to in part 1 or part 2 and you would like to see me react to massage scenes from these movies, then please drop a comment, let me know. I will happily do that when I have compiled enough of them. But yeah, I hope if this hasn't been educational, I hope at the very least it's been entertaining. Thank you to everybody on Twitter who recommended these movies to me. I hate you guys. I don't. Thank you for giving me something fun to do. But that is it for this video. Thank you as always to my amazing patrons. More content is coming your way, I promise. But that's it for this video, so thank you all. I am out and I hope to see you in my next video. So until then, bye!